All right, folks, welcome in. We keep getting news. We keep getting, live stream. How about that? That's how we're going to roll. But Marcus Stroman was just released by the Yankees, and we're going to talk about what that means. I have to say, before I dive into it, to be sure to like the video or thumbs up the video or whatever you call that button, because it really does help the channel. Also, be sure to hit subscribe. At 10,000 subscribers, we are going to be giving away a Yankee jersey of your choice. So you are entered to win as long as you are subscribed. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. We just continue to grow. It is awesome. But man, the Stroman stuff we were talking about yesterday, I mentioned it on the live stream with Gary. We discussed it. What's going to happen? When you go out and you add 3 bullpen arms, it doesn't matter if you add a starter or not. 3 bullpen arms crowds just the pitching because you need 13 pitchers on the 26-man roster. So Marcus Stroman has been released, and that actually is a good thing if you're a Cam Schlittler fan, because Cam Schlittler is now in the rotation. And it's really fascinating because it really didn't feel like it was going to go that way. And we talked about it yesterday. I said you got to DFA Stroman, but are they going to do that? Because Cam is not going to get a chance to be in this rotation if they don't. You have Heel, you have Warren, you have Rodon, you have Fried, and now Cam Schlittler. So interesting. They did also move Carlos Carrasco during the deadline, a blink and you'll miss it move to the Atlanta Braves. So they're telling us this is their starting 5 in the rotation. Not guys like Brock Selvage and Brendan Beck and some other guys that, maybe could fill in a pinch if they had to bring somebody up. But this is pretty much it here until, of course, Ryan Yarbrough comes back. And I think really what they're doing is, at the end of the day, if they feel like Cam Schlittler's good enough to stay in the rotation, Yarbrough will be that other starter that they just moved to the bullpen, can pitch 5 innings out of the bullpen if they need him to, can be an opener, can go 3, can really just be that kind of super utility guy. But that's the thing. Like, really what happens here is the Yankees become a little bit more versatile. They don't feel like they're bogged down because they're paying $18 million to a player. Stroman is now off the roster. Now, the human element, and regardless of how I felt about Stroman's comments in the past, and there have been a lot of comments, not just on the Yankees. He said some things, just in general. But as far as what he's done on the Yankees, I will say, I do appreciate Stroman's contributions. And I'll also say that I kind of felt for him yesterday, because now looking back at it, he's celebrating, they're just interviewing him after the game. He just got the win, and now here he is, and he's talking about how excited he is for these new guys to step up and join this roster. And the new guys are a big reason why he's not on the roster. So that is part of the business. I get it. That's the human element, regardless of, how things have been. And while I didn't agree with the whole, I'm a starter rant that he had, at the same time, I feel like he did slowly but surely buy back into the Yankees. It felt like he didn't even want to pitch for this team. He came back. He had some good moments, not so good moments, but the worst he did was give up 4 earned runs in a game. Okay. When he came back from the injury, I mean, his last bunch of starts here in July, I mean, he pitched decently well against the Mets. He pitched very well against Seattle. He pitched very well against Atlanta. And then, he had some issues against Philly. And then the Tampa game yesterday, he gets the win in, and it was kind of not an easy game. You go through, of course, the 2.5-hour rain delay and everything. But yeah, that is Stroman's career with the Yankees. He finishes the season with a 6.23 ERA, a 1.54 WHIP, heavily ballooned because of what he did last year, or excuse me, at the beginning of the year. in that first game where he couldn't get out of the first inning. And then, of course, that led to the injury. And then, he took a while to come back, and he did. So, look, appreciate Marcus Stroman, okay? I'm not going to sit here and rag on the guy. What's done is done. This is not DJ LeMahieu, okay? Like, when they DFA'd LeMahieu, I was kind of annoyed because I felt like every time before now was the time to DFA LeMahieu, and then he started hitting and started being productive, and I just didn't understand why you would DFA him now when you didn't DFA him last year, when it looked like last year that was the end. Stroman finishes his Yankee tenure with a 4.69 career ERA, 13-11. He started 38 games for this team. He pitched in 39, one out of the bullpen as a double-barreled arm, 193 and 2/3 innings. Obviously, was he worth the cost? I would say no, but Stroman did show that, there were times where this contract looked really good. It looked like a really good pickup last year when he started off as rotation early on, a lot of injuries they were dealing with. And then it looked good until, unfortunately, like Gary had predicted, last year, as soon as he gets to about 130 pitches, he's going to fall off. He does not get to that point, doesn't happen. And sure enough, he did. So I would say in a nutshell, I think Stroman had a better Yankee career than maybe a lot of people will remember him for it. But at the end of the day, he's a fifth guy in a rotation. He's not supposed to be your ace or anything like that. And he's at the end of his career or getting close to the end of his career. He's currently 34, right? And doesn't have knockdown, drag out stuff. And he's 5'7", $180. So he's shorter than me. Like, that's the thing. So, yeah, appreciate Stroman. But again, I think the biggest thing here is that Cam Schlittler is getting a legit opportunity to try out, I would say is the word, audition to be in this starting rotation the rest of the year. Now, that does not mean he has to be in the rotation and be the third pitcher in a World Series. That does not mean that at all. And so that's important to remember, is that when you look at, what Cam Schlittler brings to the table, this is somebody right now who doesn't have the best stats, right? He's got 15 strikeouts and 14 2/3. He has a 1.84 whip and he has a 4.91 ERA. But he's shown you enough in these three starts because, of course, small sample size, last start was not his best. He's shown you enough in those three starts that he could be really good. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think this guy has number 2 in the rotation stuff. I really think he can accomplish that. He's 24. I think in 3 years, we'll be talking about him being, a top 3 starter in this rotation. But for now, Cam Schlittler has to earn it. He has to prove it. He has to keep working. Okay. Goes on Saturday, so tomorrow, against the Miami Marlins. And then Luis Gil makes his very highly anticipated debut of 2025. And that'll be his first pitch he throws since the campaign where he won Rookie of the Year. So it's important to remember that. But again, I really do believe in the idea of going with Cam Schlittler. I like that they stood close to him. They didn't trade him away for a Sandy Alcantara or a rental. I think Brian Cashman deserves credit for that because you only got 3 starts out of Cam, and the last start was not overly impressive. But I like that they didn't just jump at, they didn't just jump at the next thing. I like that they actually, they gave him a shot. So I'm excited. Look, again, feel for Stroman because that's just me. I can't help but feel for the human being. But this is the right move, make no mistake about it, for the New York Yankees. And if you want to win a World Series, you have to make these tough decisions. And like I said yesterday, they had already kind of prefaced this by doing it with DJ LeMahieu. So I agree with the decision. Stroman is now free to go to any team and, maybe give a contender a breath of fresh air because there's not anybody out there right now. So Stroman and DJ LeMahieu are going to help contenders. The hope is that doesn't come back to bite the Yankees later on in the postseason and they sign with somebody that ultimately they knock us out. But not going to think like that. Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, Luis Gil, Will Warren, Cam Schlittler. You're going to get Ryan Yarbrough back, however you want to. It's really going to depend on how well Cam pitches. If he pitches well enough, he'll stay in the rotation, and Ryan Yarbrough will be a super utility guy of the bullpen. But now, all those names included, and you have a deep bullpen. This is what I was talking about yesterday. When you look at who is in that bullpen, okay, you go out and you get 3 guys, you didn't need a starter. This is exactly what you needed. You did not need a starting pitcher. What you needed, right, was to add another bullpen arm to the 2 you got. And when they got Doval, that was them saying, we're not playing around. Doval can hit 103 on the gun, okay? Like, Doval's really good. It's not just the velo, though. I mean, he's got some crazy stuff that, Matt Blake will be able to work with over the next 2 years and a half. But this bullpen's exciting. Said yesterday with Gary. I mean, can you remember a time where you were this hyped to see the Yankees bullpen? Like, Carlos Rodon is going tonight. And I love watching Carlos Rodon pitch. But, dude, I'm more amped than ever to watch this bullpen. And you should be too. I'm very curious to see how they utilize it. Who's in what position. I'm very excited. I really like the way they've done, they've done this. I think the roster construction was very poor early on. And honestly, it was poor before they made all those moves yesterday. But I really feel good about the direction the Yankees are heading in. I do think they can go to the World Series. I do think they can win a World Series. But as it was brought up yesterday, and I thought it was a really good point by one of our super chatters. All right, Boone, it's your turn. Brian Cashman, while he struggled to give you a good bullpen throughout the year, well, he has now. It's up for you to do your job and manage the hell out of this team. And honestly, how much do you have to manage? You have everything. Right now, you have virtually everything. Judge isn't even on this roster currently. So just imagine how much better they're going to get when Judge comes back. But currently, you have Austin Wells at catcher. You have Ben Rice, you could play catcher. You have Paul Goldschmidt. You have Jazz Chisholm. You have Anthony Volpe, who's now hitting home runs and showing some value, at least offensively. If he struggles enough, you can bench him, and now you have a defensive replacement, a better defensive shortstop currently in Jose Caballero. You could also use him all over the place. So literally, he's a wild card. Then you have Ryan McMahon, who plays a really good third base, and now he's hitting. You have Jason Dominguez, switch hitter, so you could utilize him however you see fit. And now he's starting to show at least a little bit on the defensive side, and he's a very good hitter. He's probably one of your better hitters, and he's starting to ascend a bit. You got Trent Grisham. Now, maybe against lefties, he's not the best, but Trent Grisham against righties is a nuke. He's a guy that shows you, situational power. We saw the home run the other day. He's a good defender. He works counts. He walks a lot. He can lead off. Well, I didn't think he could, but Boone does. Then you have Cody Bellinger, who honestly, people don't want to admit it. Cody Bellinger is the closest thing to a superstar without being a superstar. What does Cody Bellinger not do? Cody Bellinger has replaced Aaron Judge for the time being. He's the one that's hitting for average. He's the one that's hitting for power. He's the one that's coming through in the clutch. He's the one that's helping with his arm in the outfield. He's the one that's helping with his glove in the outfield. He's the one that's helping on base. He can steal bases. He's smart on the base paths. Bellinger has everything, literally everything that you could ever want in a Major League Baseball player. And he's been a leader. We've already heard that. So then you have Giancarlo Stanton, who just happens to be turning back the clock. A guy with elbow issues, and now he's an absolute dynamic weapon. He had another home run yesterday, 8th of the year. His OPS is over 850. Rosario is crushing lefties. Austin Slater's crushing lefties. He's also a good defender. You could bring him in at the end of the game. If Jason Dominguez has already had his at-bat, you can bring him in as a defensive replacement. He's also got a killer arm. Those are your hitters. Those are your position players. Boone has everything you need. So then you look at the pitchers, and you got Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, 2 All-Stars this year. Max Fried has been dealing with a blister. That eventually will go away, and he'll get better and better and better, and he'll get back to where he was. Carlos Rodon, he's been laboring a little bit, but Rodon is still a very good pitcher. Luis Heel, you're getting back, your rookie of the year that you refused to trade for Kyle Tucker. Will Warren, if you take away 2 starts this year, has a 3.60 ERA, according to Jack Curry. Cam Schlittler has more velo than anybody in this rotation and has incredible upside. And God forbid he doesn't work out, you're going to be getting Ryan Yarbrough back, who is a stud in the rotation. And then your bullpen, no big deal. It consists of 4 closers. Devin Williams, one of the best closers in the league when, he's on. And I've been very happy with Devin Williams. I know he's given up some things lately, but I think he was overworked. Now I think Devin Williams not being overworked, because you have all these guys, he's going to be able to give you the most. Luke Weaver, your closer last year, was sensational in the postseason. David Bednar, a longtime all-star closer for the Pirates. Very good. And honestly, the second hottest pitcher in baseball. When you look at the statistical output, this is a guy that's 12-9 K rate. And then Camilo Doval, who's also had plenty of experience as a closer. So you have 4 guys that can be closers. Then you have Jake Bird, who has just absolutely disgusting stuff. If they figure him out early on, if they can get the most out of him, whatever Matt Blake can do, he can be dangerous. Tim Hill's pitching well as of late, so you have that lefty in there. Brent Hedrick is pitching well as of late. Yeri De Los Santos is in AAA. He can be called up at any point. Had 5 strikeouts against, in 3 innings yesterday, right? So there's a lot here. Mark Leiter Jr. will be back. Fernando Cruz will be back. Aaron Boone has a war chest of options to go and win the World Series. So now it's up to Aaron Boone to do that. It's that simple. Like, I can sit here and say Brian Cashman is annoying. He frustrates me. I don't like that he neglects the free agency, all that. Doesn't matter anymore. Clean slate. It's August 1st. Put up or shut up. This is really when, even though it's not the half of the year, this is really when the second half starts to really feel like the second half of the season. August baseball is a lot different than July. A lot different. The Yankees know who they want to be on this roster currently, okay? Before August, before yesterday, the Yankees didn't even know who was going to be in their bullpen. They didn't even know who was going to be in their rotation. And now they know. So, yeah, again, I don't want to give Brian Cashman all the credit in the world, because he also could have just used free agency to accomplish this. But regardless, doesn't matter how you got there, you got there. Everyone now is talking about how dominant the Yankees bullpen looks on paper. Now, of course, you could find that Jake Bird can't pitch in New York, or Doval, or a Bednar. That's certainly possible. Taking them out of their natural habitat and then putting them in New York, they could absolutely fail. I'm not saying they can't. It's not 100% plug and play. You're going to 100% get great results. But on paper right now, they have one of the best bullpens in the league. They have a great looking, balanced offense. And Boone has everything you could ask for. Now in those games where we were sitting there saying, man, not trying to defend Boone here, but what is he supposed to do when Jonathan Loaizaga has to pitch 2 innings? They don't have anybody. Well, now he doesn't have to pitch 2 innings. And you have guys on the IL that'll be a part of this bullpen. Mark Leiter Jr. has reverse splits. Fernando Cruz has one of the most wipeout pitches in the league. His splitter. Absolute disgusting, right? They both actually have that. Ryan Yarbrough, the way he pitched, I mean, they're getting guys. And then you have Yeri De Los Santos just marinating in AAA. You can call him up when you want. He's got, I think, another 2 options. Oh, and by the way, we actually figured out, Jack Curry brought this up yesterday, when Aaron Judge comes back, Jose Caballero, who has options, will be sent down to AAA. I actually like that. Now, I'm probably going to like Jose Caballero enough where I want him to start at shortstop most days, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. But to accommodate for Aaron Judge, I think that makes sense. And if Austin Slater doesn't step up, I mean, you did give up Gage Zeal, so I'm not going to say you gave him nothing, but then you could potentially DFA him if you feel like he's not a part. And they've done this before. And even the Dodgers, who won a World Series. They won a World Series. And you know what they did that year? They traded for Ahmed Rosario and cut him. He didn't even make the postseason roster. Their options were plentiful, and they ended up cutting Rosario. So that's the thing. Like, you're giving yourself a lot of different options, and that is a good sign for anybody. What's crazy to me is that we have over 500 people in here. That is insane. I mean, guys, really appreciate it. It's just Marcus Stroman getting released, Cam Schlittler being kept in the rotation. 514 viewers is crazy. But be sure to hit that like button. And again, I mentioned it at the beginning. I will mention it again. Subscribe, because if you do subscribe, you'll be entered to win a Yankees jersey. We'll be giving that away at 10,000 subscribers. So, and we've been flying up there. I mean, now, what is it? We're over 8,700. So we're getting closer every day. Thanks to you guys. You guys are really making it easy to grow on this channel. I mean, every time we go live, we're getting at least 500 people in the live stream. So you guys are just freaking fantastic. And we're excited. We got plenty of, interviews coming as well. Exciting interviews. So there's that. But we also have a super chat from my guy, Yuri. How you doing, Yuri? Thank you for the 2. Boone pen is loaded. Boone has no excuses. Exactly. The thing that I was really, defending Boone on, like, now he has nothing to fall back on. Unless there is an apocalypse of injuries during, the rest of the year, which God forbid, hope not, there is nothing to defend Aaron Boone. Okay. He's got to go out and show the manager that he is. But the beautiful thing is, like Brian Cashman, who I gave some flack, Gary gave some flack, we all gave flack for not going out and doing something, and then finally he did it. Again, he was able to go out and fix the bullpen on just one day of the year. He did it. We can complain about how long it took. Maybe they lost a game that they shouldn't have lost because of it, but he went out and did it. So what I'm saying here is Brian Cashman proved himself in that moment. There are things that you could do in a video game that would make this team way better. Sure. You could have traded Jason Dominguez for Steven Kwan, right? There are things you could have done to make this team better. But they were able to maintain the integrity of their roster, not give up any of their top 7 prospects, and build one of the more balanced rosters in the entire league. So that's the thing. Now, can't believe I'm saying this, Cashman is cashed in. He's done his job. He's passed the baton. It is up to you, Aaron Boone, to do your job. You have to finish this race. This team, I will say, can absolutely win the World Series. And it is not a crazy take to say that. It's just not. Their lineup is one of the best in the league. I'd say top 5. Their hitters all around. Their bench is equipped for any scenario. Pinch run, defensive replacement, pinch hitting. I really like where they're at. They actually have a super utility guy who can play every single position that's not catcher and first base. They actually have an absolute slugger in Ben Rice who can play first and catcher. So now you don't have to keep another catcher on the roster because Ben Rice is your catcher, which ultimately allows you the flexibility because you don't need JC Escar and Ben Rice on the roster. Escar is in AAA. Now you're able to keep another bat, another glove, another runner, whatever you want to do. And the Yankees took advantage of that. That's what we call being creative. So love it. Absolutely love it. But now it's up. It is up to Boone, because I will tell you this, a really good example of what Boone's dealing with. You got to know how to drive. See, that's the funny thing. When you're in a car and you throw on Apple Maps, Google Maps, whatever, it can give you directions, where to turn, what, location it is, what exit you're getting off of, how long it's going to take you to get to the exit. What it can't do is teach you how to drive. It can't teach you how to turn. It can't teach you how to hit use the steering wheel. It can't teach you how to use the gas, the brakes, be a defensive driver, make, decisions on it cannot do that. You have to know how to drive before you use your GPS. The GPS will not teach you how to drive. It is no different than Aaron Boone right now. Boone has the GPS to the World Series. He has to know how to drive. And we're going to find out if Boone can drive this car, this van. Because right now it's a damn party bus. They got everybody you would want. But now it's up to him to get to where he has to go. So, and also keep this in mind. If Boone gets to a second straight World Series and say they win this year, what does that look like? Boone's set. His legacy is set in stone. It just takes 1 year. One. We've been all over Aaron Boone. But it just takes 1 year. So, again, really appreciate everybody tuning in. Cannot believe we have over 500 people. That is just absolutely bonkers. And we've only been live for not even 30 minutes. Want to give a special shout out to my co-host, Gary Sheffield Jr. He is the best to work with, truthfully. And he obviously, we explained, he's explained before, he's watching his daughter. So he cannot make the daily streams or during the day. We don't normally do daily streams like during the day, but there's been a lot of news. And so, this foot forward and everything. And we're really trying to get as much content on this channel as possible, but we don't want to, kind of like the Yankees, we don't want to threaten the integrity of the show. So that's the biggest thing, is that how do we give you the content? How do we give you the news? How do we give you the analysis during the day without sacrificing the integrity of the show? And I think it's very simply put, you go live, you interact with the audience, we see the comment section, everything. Really that simple. So that's kind of how I look at that. But Gary and I are very excited. We love you guys so much. It is an absolute joy to go live and talk to you guys every single episode. And we'll be back tonight. Gary and I will be talking about the Yankees and Marlins. You got, I forgot his first name. Is it Jensen? Jensen Junk on the mound for the Marlins, taking on Carlos Rodon. And we're going to see the Yankees bullpen in action unless Carlos Rodon throws a no-hitter or perfect game. That would be absolutely hilarious. Can you imagine that? Dude, I just can't wait for the bullpen. Rodon throws a perfect game. That would be absolutely hilarious. I'm not complaining. I'll wait another day to see the bullpen if it means Carlos Rodon threw a perfect game. I think we'd all sign up for that. But yeah, so Friday night, which, of course, today's Friday. Probably later on, normal time, like 10:30 or whatever, we'll be going live and talking about the game. So we're excited about that. But of course, be sure to hit the like button, the thumbs up button. We got 119 likes. I want to see that go up, because we have almost 500 people still in here in 30 minutes. So be sure to hit that like button. It's going to tell YouTube to just throw this thing everywhere. Otherwise, if you don't like it, YouTube's going to assume you hate it and probably throw us into some black hole or something. Who knows? But again, Really appreciate you guys. Be sure to like. You could also check us out on all audio formats. I always forget to mention this. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on all that stuff. So if you're trying to just listen to audio, maybe you're on the road and you don't want to just bring up YouTube and you don't have YouTube Premium, so it's a pain in the ass, use the audio. We're on audio, all that stuff. So be sure to check that out. And then again, be sure to hit subscribe because we are giving away a Yankee jersey at 10,000 subscribers. And if you think it's going to be a while until then, you haven't been paying attention. 8,700. It wasn't that long ago. We got to 6,000 and that felt nice. But we are flying up the ranks because of you guys. So again, we'll see you guys tonight. Take care. Everyone enjoy and talk to you soon.